Life form hiding inside humans, and I'm gonna tell you why this is amazing.
Okay, so pretty much everything that the girl in the video I stitched said after that point was just fundamentally wrong and also illogical and also kind of dumb. Fundamentally incorrect and mostly just complete and utter bullshit. However, what she is correct about is that a new life form that is pretty different than pretty much everything we now know about was recently discovered in January of 2024. So let's talk about that, the actual science, and not whatever the fuck she was talking about in the rest of this video. Now, after seeing this video, I decided to go do some digging, and I found the original thing put out on the internet to talk about these. And what's important is that this is a preprint. So it's not an actual published scientific article yet. It's just a preprint, which is basically just the preview released to the public. So this isn't actually fully approved by any scientific journal yet. So take all of this with a massive thing of salt, just because it may not be approved and it may be like, no, actually this is kind of all bullshit. So all of this information, while yes, technically coming from a scientific source, is not peer-reviewed yet. So there's no backing and there's no publishing on this. However, let's get into what it's talking about, which is a new form of life called obelisks. Now, according to this paper, there was a new form of life that is not really like anything we've seen before that was found in the human body. That's a very, very brief overview, but let's go into it a bit more. So technically, it wasn't found in human body cells. It was found in a specific type of bacteria that is present within the gut microbiome and the mouth microbiome. Specifically, it's found in Streptococcus sanguinis, a type of strep bacteria that is normally just found in the gut and the mouth. And these new obelisks were found within that bacteria. They weren't actually found within human cells, they were found within bacterial cells within the human body. So there were actually multiple types of these obelisks found, but they all share a couple different features, including circular RNA genome. So circular, kind of like plasmids in bacteria, and RNA, which is common with a bunch of different types of viruses. There's also reading frames within that genome that encodes an entire new class of proteins named obelins after obelisks, and the whole genome is surrounded by kind of a reportedly rod-like structure to kind of encompass and protect the genome. Now, this may be an entire new phylogenetic group that's completely different from everything. Like, we have bacteria, we have fungi, we have plants and animals, all that, and we also have viruses, which are technically non-living, even though they do share properties that many living things have. We also have viroids and prions, which are their own little weird things. Viroids are pieces of non-coding RNA, which is basically just virulent RNA that hates you specifically. And we also have prions, which are just proteins that hate you specifically. Neither are living, but they both do have weird stuff about them. So these new obelisks are described as being viroid-like. So they're not viroids, they're not the just virulent non-coding RNA, they're viroid-like, which means they have some properties that viroids have, but they aren't viroid. Kind of the main difference being that viroid RNA is virulent, meaning it causes disease, but non-coding. So the RNA genome doesn't actually code for any protein. Whereas in the obelisks, it actually does code for its own protein, being those new obelin proteins discovered. And so, yes, they were technically found in the human body, but they were really found within a specific strep bacteria that is found within the human body. So no, they cannot be used for any interdimensional communication, whatever the fuck that interesting girl. That was mean. The girl that I stitched was talking about. It's not that. That's not what it is at all, even a little bit. However, they do seem to be very widely distributed in at least the human subjects that were used, like the humans that the bacteria was cultured from. A good proportion of them had bacteria that did contain the obelisks. Now, obviously, we don't right now know if they're pathogenic or virulent, or if they cause any harm, or if they have any benefits right now to either us or the bacteria, because they were quite literally discovered a couple months ago. We also don't know where on the phylogenetic tree to put it, if they're like related to viruses, if they're related to bacteria, if they're related to us, whatever it is, we don't know where to put them. We just know that they have RNA genomes that do code, which is kind of like in between a virus and a viroid. So kind of all we know right now is that they exist. Probably, because again, this is not yet a peer-reviewed and fully accepted paper. This is still under review, and it may or may not get rejected if it can't be proven to be reducible, if nobody else other than these couple specific scientists were able to find the presence of these obelisks. Because so far, this is like, I found the original research paper that was like the source of this. However, these are the only people thus far that have found and confirmed the existence of these. So we won't know for real if this is an entirely new life form type until more people actually do the same stuff and do find them. Because as we went over in the scientific literacy series, the study needs to be the study needs to be reproducible in order to be valid. So if these are the only people ever who can find existence of these, that means it is not valid, and even if they weren't making it up, it is not accepted because nobody else can prove or disprove this. Now, I will link the paper that I found about this, the original paper. However, just know that for right now, the video that I stitched, every single thing about it was wrong, except for the fact that they probably discovered a new form of life.